welcome back to the Cardiac Arrhythmias and Obesity Research Lab. I'm Kedar Aris, Assistant Professor in the Department of Physiology and Biophysics in the Jacob School of Medicine and Biomedical Sciences at University at Buffalo. For this episode, I wanted to share my perspective on putting together a CV. A CV is different from a resume, which is typically 1 to 2 pages and only includes information including your skills, training, and experience that are relevant to the industry position that you're applying to. A CV, on the other hand, includes your detailed history of academic credentials. So, what goes into a CV? Now, there is no hard and fast rule. Everyone has their own style of formatting and their recipe, but there are typically 4 components that go into a CV. It includes your education and training background, your research experience, any honors and awards you may have, a teaching component, any teaching you may have done, and finally the service component. So those are the 4 things that go into your CV: your teaching, service, research, and your educational background. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk you through the CV I used for my interview application package. This is my CV. It starts off with the contact information, including any social media links that you may have. Then I had a section, a mini personal statement that describes concisely what my research background is and what my short-term and long-term goals are. And this would be useful, especially when the search committee is sifting through the applications and they come across your CV and you have made it easier for them to know what your research interest and background is. Then you have a section on education and training, and then a section on research experience, both pre-doctoral and postdoctoral. And if you have had any industry experience, this would be a good section to put in here. Any honors and awards you may have, any publications, including manuscripts in submission or review, as well as published manuscripts, any patents you may have been part of, any invited book chapters you may have written or co-authored, teaching experience, any courses that you may have TA'd or participated in as a guest lecturer, any mentoring of undergraduate and graduate students that you may have done as part of your postdoctoral training or pre-doctoral training, any grant support you may have, funding that you may have achieved through your postdoctoral or pre-doctoral training, any outreach you may have perhaps participated as a volunteer judge at a university poster competition. That this would be a good place to include that here. If you're part of any professional organizations, please include that. And then if you have been invited to present your research at conferences or at universities, you have a section here on that. And then any conferences that you may have attended. And then finally, any service you may have done, either by participating in reviewing manuscripts for journals, or if you're mentoring any master's students as part of the thesis committee, then that would be an option here as well. So this is what my CV looked like. You can choose to use your mentor CV if that's more relevant to you. Alternately, feel free to use my CV as a template as you go about formatting and creating your own CV. And if you need a copy of my CV, feel free to shoot me an email at aris.research.lab@gmail.com. The detailed email address is included in the description below for this episode. So that's it for this week. I hope to see you next